They don't realize they're unaware, and that's what makes it dangerous. A foolish man doesn't always stumble in obvious ways. Often he walks with misplaced confidence. He believes he understands. He's convinced he sees clearly. He speaks often and loudly, explaining everything to everyone, while his own life quietly unravels behind him. The real danger isn't ignorance itself. It's the absence of awareness. It's speaking before thinking, reacting before observing, blaming before reflecting. That's what makes a man truly unwise. Not a lack of information, but a lack of self-control and inner clarity. Seneca once wrote, "The greatest obstacle to living is expectancy, which hangs upon tomorrow and loses today." Foolish men are rarely present. They live in illusions of tomorrow, or in borrowed versions of today. If you want to understand someone's character, don't just watch their actions, listen to their words. Words reveal discipline, pain, self-respect, and clarity. There are certain phrases that quietly expose weakness, evasion, or stagnation. If you catch yourself using them, pause. They are warning signs, not verdicts. They point to places where growth is needed. 1. That's just the way I am. This sounds harmless, but it's often the anthem of someone who has stopped growing. It's not strength, it's resignation. A wise man knows that personality is not a prison. We are meant to evolve. The moment someone declares, "That's just who I am," they're announcing that they've chosen comfort over transformation. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that we can't control external events, but we can shape our thoughts. A man who refuses this responsibility blames his past, his circumstances, even his zodiac sign, treating his flaws like destiny. But the truth is simpler. You are raw material. Each day you shape yourself, or you let yourself decay through excuses. 2. I don't care what people think. On the surface, this sounds strong, but often it's a shield. The man who declares this loudly is usually the one who cares most. He wants others to believe he's above judgment, but inside, he's fragile, driven by ego, easily disturbed by opinion. The Stoic doesn't need to proclaim indifference. He practices it. He doesn't wage war on others' opinions. He focuses on mastering himself. Epictetus wrote, "It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows." True strength is quiet. Those who are genuinely secure don't need to convince anyone, not even themselves. So when someone insists they don't care, look closer. It may be bravado masking insecurity. Only those unsure of themselves need to broadcast their strength. He's likely clinging to attention because insecurity often disguises itself as loud certainty. Those who are truly at peace don't need to prove it. 3. It's not my fault. This is the anthem of avoidance. The man who always points outward to his parents, his boss, his ex, the economy, the algorithm, slowly gives away his own power. Each time he shifts blame, he steps further away from authorship of his life. It's a subtle kind of spiritual decay, because when you surrender responsibility, you surrender influence. You become a passenger, not a driver. A Stoic doesn't run from responsibility. He embraces it. Even when a situation isn't his fault, he makes it his task. Why? Because ownership is power. Blame delays. Responsibility moves. The unwise believe that avoiding guilt shields them from pain, but the wise know this. You either face the pain of growth now, or the pain of regret later, and regret lingers much longer. 4. Why should I try if nothing changes? This is the quiet whisper of defeat. It sounds practical, but it's a trap. It's the reasoning of someone who wants results without the rhythm of discipline. He trains for 2 weeks, doesn't see instant transformation, and quits. He builds something, meets resistance, and folds. He apologizes once and expects immediate forgiveness. He treats effort like a vending machine insert work, get reward. But reality doesn't work on demand. Stoics live by process, not applause. They act because action itself shapes the soul, not because every attempt guarantees an outcome. Miyamoto Musashi didn't ask if a single duel would change his destiny. He simply prepared, trained, fought, and repeated, because the value is in the doing. The moment a man asks, "Why try?" he's already dimmed his own flame, and a life without fire slowly collapses in on itself. The man who keeps swinging even when it looks futile is often the one who breaks through the wall. 5. I deserve better. This phrase sounds empowering, but often it masks entitlement. It's easy to declare worth without the work to back it. Many use this phrase to feel like kings while having built no kingdom. The truth is humbling. Life doesn't hand out rewards simply because we want them. We earn through discipline, sacrifice, and steady mastery. A Stoic man doesn't walk around demanding what life owes him. He asks himself, what am I willing to give? What am I willing to become to be worthy of it? Desire without discipline is daydream. If you want better, you must become better. Otherwise, I deserve is just another distraction from the work. 6. That's impossible. This is often less about reality and more about unwillingness. Some see another person rise from nothing and call it luck. They see a strong body and assume shortcuts. They see emotional control and label it fake. Why? Because acknowledging that greatness is possible forces them to confront their own inaction. It's easier to call something impossible than to face one's untapped potential. A Stoic knows that impossible is rarely a statement about the world. It's a mirror reflecting the limits one has chosen to accept. Seneca once said, "Difficulty strengthens the mind as labor does the body." But many resist this truth. They don't want to be strengthened, they want to be comforted. Instead of expanding their perspective, they dismiss anything that challenges it as impossible. They take shelter in mediocrity and defend it with laughter. But avoidance doesn't change reality. Growth begins where excuses end. The cure for ignorance isn't aggression. It's honest self-examination. Being foolish isn't about intelligence. It's about how we choose to think, speak, and meet reality. If you want to grow, begin with silence. Observe more than you speak. Notice your patterns. A wise man doesn't need to prove his wisdom. His silence carries weight. His actions speak for him. He measures his words carefully, using them with intention, not as noise. You are not what you claim. You are not what you post. You are what you repeatedly do when no one is watching. Strength is built quietly through consistent choices that no one applauds in the moment. If you want to become someone steady, respected, and formidable, start by removing the phrases that weaken you. Stop saying, "I don't care," to hide insecurity. Stop saying, "It's not my fault," to avoid responsibility. Stop saying, "I deserve better," while refusing to grow. Stop saying, "That's just the way I am," to stay unchanged. The world doesn't need louder voices, it needs clearer ones. It needs people who speak with intention, who think with discipline, and who face themselves honestly. Choose to become one of them. The transformation starts in the quiet spaces in thought, in discipline, in the words you allow to shape your life.